Tainted Jacob is a new character in the Binding of Isaac Repentance you can unlock by using the red key, crack key or Soul of Cain on a specific location in the home floor while playing Jacob and Esau. He starts with 3 hearts, average base stats, an amazing tier rate and most notable without his brother Esau. That is until... After a few seconds, on every floor Dark Esau will appear and chase after Jacob. Dark Esau can't be damaged or removed from the run and will charge at you every few seconds. The dash is indicated by him staying in place for a moment and slightly falling back. It is important that you pay attention to this because if Dark Esau touches you at any moment, you will enter a lost-like state without the Holy Mantle. For the rest of the floor, you will die from the next hit. It doesn't matter if Dark Esau hits you again or you run into a red fly, but you will return to your normal form as soon as you enter the next floor. To get a little bit more control over this unfortunate situation, you always start with the item Anima Solar in your consumable slot. Using this item in an empty room when Dark Esau hasn't spawned yet will summon him. Using it in a room with enemies but without Dark Esau will stop the movement of the closest enemy for a few seconds, and in the case Dark Esau is around, it will always hold him in place. But be careful, once the chains break, Dark Esau will immediately dash at you. The timing of this can be controlled as well by using Anima Solar again while Dark Esau is chained to let him free. Now you might ask yourself, why would I want to do that? And the answer is because Dark Esau deals massive damage when he comes into contact with enemies. This will one-shot most early bosses and can be a big help later into the run as well. Another feature of this unholy demon is that he can block tears. If possible, try to chain him in front of you. This can also be used as a tier cleaner in combination with the dash. You should also note that while chained, you can touch Dark Esau to escape critical situation without much space. I recommend to spawn Dark Esau at the start of the run before you enter the first room. It might sound scary and you will probably die a lot when you get started playing this character, but keep in mind that you will learn and grow from every run you do. If you start to understand how to control Dark Esau with Anima Solar, it will become very easy to clear the early rooms and boss fights. This saves time and HP. It might be a little bit annoying at the beginning, but you will start to enjoy encircling enemies with one good dash after some time. After you're done with the floor, you should go back and see if there are any pickups you can't get because you don't have bombs or flight. In that case, let Dark Esau hit you to obtain flight and pick everything up. Because the floor is already cleared, you only need to pay attention to fires and spiked rocks. If possible, try to min-max Untitled Jacob by collecting everything you can find. And if you are unsure on how to find secret rooms, you might want to take a look at my guide for secret rooms. Another essential thing you need to learn is to take controlled damage. There will be situations where you will either get hit by the enemy or by Dark Esau, and you have to force yourself to take damage from the enemy to avoid becoming the lost. This is required most of the time in the It Lives, Hush and Mother fight, but can appear everywhere else as well. Speaking of boss fights, when you get into one, try to use the full room size to get distance from Dark Esau and make him dash into the nothingness. You can try to deal damage with him, but I prefer to hold on to my Anima Solar use just in case he gets a little bit too close to me. But I very much like to have the extra damage in easier boss fights like Mom, Isaac and Blue Baby. When you start to play Greed mode, you can use the same strategy as before and summon Dark Esau for the extra dash damage right when the first wave starts. The dash can clear most waves very fast and you recharge Anima Solar with the start of every new wave. A different approach you can use is to start the wave as fast as possible to clear 3 to 5 waves without Dark Esau. If you feel like the waves are too hard to clear, consider pressing the button in the middle to stop the waves. However, this shouldn't be needed once you master controlling Dark Esau. Because you are guaranteed the Angel or Devil deal for every floor, you can freely choose which one to go for, but remember that you can take one Devil deal for free in the Lost form, and Angel deals offer many protective items that can be a big help against Ultra Greed. The first phase of Ultra Greed is pretty manageable. Use the full room size to avoid Dark Esau and let him dash into the big enemy waves to clear them more or less in one go. Once you get to the second phase, you want to pay extra attention to Dark Esau. It will be very difficult to avoid damage in this fight, so you just simply have to take a few hits, but that is alright as long as you have enough HP. going into the final boss with many hits is the key to beating Ultra Greed. Now that we have covered the basics and took a closer look at Dark Esau and how it can be helpful, we will go over some useful tips and tricks for Tainted Jacob. It might be very tempting to restart for a good item with this character, but because it is very easy to clear the first 3 to 5 floors with him, I recommend you to just play the run, get some experience with the character and check out the Devil and Angel deals. And I have to be honest, it was not easy to come up with a recommendation for this, but after playing a lot of runs with Tainted Jacob, I advise you to always check the first Devil deal and only skip it if the item in there is completely useless. Because you will get hit a lot in late game boss fights and there's always a chance to become the Lost and die after the next hit, I feel like you want to get as much damage as possible and the Devil deals can provide this. But now you might say, well, damage is nice, but I don't want to fight Delirium with just 3 hearts. And that is a reasonable concern. However, if you turn into the Lost, you can take Devil deals for free. You can only take 1 though, but if you do it smart, you will pay the cheap item with your real HP and take the expensive one for free. To make this even better, if you manage to get through the run somewhat well, try to use the sacrifice room for potential angel deal items and the key pieces to increase your chance for the devil or angel deal to appear. The angels can be scary, but don't forget you have Dark Esau at your side who can deal massive damage to them. You might already know about the bomb trick for Mom, but if you combo this with Dark Esau, you can instantly take half of her HP away in one go. Another really good reason to turn into the Lost is after you obtain the second knife piece to just fly out of the mineshaft. This will also make the entrance to Mausoleum free, so that's a nice extra. But please remember to clear the full floor including the boss first before you turn into the Lost to avoid unfortunate encounters. As for the item choice, of course this is something up to luck, but you should look for damage items, homing and range. Everything that makes it easier to kill enemies while you can pay attention to Dark Esau is a blessing. Defensive items can also work well because sometimes you have to run into enemy tiers to avoid Dark Esau and they might protect you. They are also very useful once you turn into the Lost. The Holy Mantle is one of the best defensive items in the game and can even block 1 hit from Dark Esau, so that's a must take if you ever see it. Extra lives can be very nice to have. And you should definitely check out the shop and look for the glowing hourglass. It allows you to reverse unlucky hits by Dark Esau and makes you run a lot safer. Mapping tools can also be helpful because especially later on you don't want to walk into dead-end rooms that are clearly not designed for this character. And flight can be essential as well for rooms with a lot of obstacles or where the floor can't be clearly seen, like in the womb or corpse for example. Things that I personally avoid are the punching bag because Dark Esau will target him, and I find it a lot easier to predict where Dark Esau goes when he comes for me, and the car battery because it will chain down Dark Esau and 1 extra enemy. That on its own is not bad, but you will release the enemy first usually and have to do some weird double taps to get the Dark Esau charge for extra damage, and I really dislike that. Birthright is another item you might want to avoid. It doubles Dark Esau and gives you a lot more damage, but it's probably not the smartest move you can make. Tainted Jacob has become one of my favorite characters, and once you get used to Dark Esau he can be a very fun and challenging experience, so maybe give him a chance on your next run. I am playing him a lot lately on stream, so if you want to see some live action gameplay, tune in the next time I go online. And that's pretty much it, and leaves me with only one more thing left to say. My name is Bambochutafreak, this was the Tainted Jacob guide in less than 10 minutes, and until next time.